Hello friends, today's video focuses on the human design profiles. This is a foundational video. It's the beginning of a series of videos about the human design profiles, and I've decided that I wanted to dig into this particular part of our designs because our profiles are a foundational piece along with type, strategy, and authority, and they really help us get a deeper sense of who we are, who we're designed to be. And in this time where there is so much change at the shifting of the ages, right? We're at the end of one world age and the beginning of another world age. The question of who are we and what are we doing and what is our purpose and how are we showing up in the world? These are really big questions that a lot of us are experiencing right now. So I thought it would be a great idea for us to bring in some more understanding about the human design profiles so that you can work with them in a way that will help empower you as we step into the age of Aquarius. So in this video, you're going to learn about what are the profiles, right? And where can you find it in your chart? And why is this so significant? And then I'll have other videos that will go through each one of the lines of the profiles and talk more about really the significance of this particular part of your chart and how you can make the most of it. Let's go ahead and dive in. If I'm new to you, my name is Maggie Ostara. I'm a human design expert, and I'm a sovereignty mentor for awakening women in the Aquarian age. I want to give a little bit of context about how I work with human design. Human design is a very dynamic system, and it was gifted to us about 40 years ago from Spirit through Rahu, and it has continued to evolve. He evolved it during the course of his life, and other people have continued to evolve it after he has left the planet. And so it is a dynamic system, and it keeps growing, and different people approach it in different ways. So I want to just give you a little bit of an idea of what my approach is so you can see if this really resonates with you. So at Sovereignty by Design, which is the human design arm of my business, we're really partnering with human design to grow our inner sovereignty, our sense of who we are in a really genuine and fulfilling way, right? And then how do we build that inside of ourselves so that we can then move through the world with other sovereign beings, which to me is a foundation of the new earth that we're consciously co-creating right now. And so when I work with human design, we hold it inside of a container that recognizes that everything is sacred. And human design is sacred, and you're sacred, and I'm sacred, and all of the people and all of the world are sacred, even things that we don't necessarily love or we agree with, but we can still see them as an expression of source energy, because everything is. And then inside of this sense that everything is sacred, there's another layer of inquiry. And this for me is really important because traditional human design, in the way that Rahu presented it, is it was pretty deterministic. It was like, if you have this, that means you're that. And no, you can't change. And that is not a philosophy that I ascribe to. I think it's important for you to take whatever I share or any other human design expert that you tap into and see, does it really resonate for you? Is that an empowering idea for you? Or is it something that you're like, that's kind of off. I don't really like that, or it doesn't suit me. Because the truth is we're all different, and your life experience and the choices that you made and your values and your, really what you have been drawn to in your life is just as significant as whatever you see in your human design. So I really like to say that this is an inquiry, right? We're using human design, tapping into it as a partner and an ally to help strip away conditioning and ideas about ourselves that we inherited, that we got from common culture, that maybe we got from our ancestral line, and we get to see, does that really suit us, right, or not? And human design just helps us get a sense of what is going on in our own energy field and gives us very specific places to look to say, hey, check this out. How does that land for you? What does that feel like for you? How can it benefit you? And so that's exactly what we're going to be doing today as we dig into the human design profiles. So aspect number one is, what are the human design profiles, right? And so in the human design system, We like to think of your type as your role. And the type goes with your strategy, which is how you engage with life. So really your type and your strategy, they go together, and it has to do with the role that you have in life. Like kind of what are you doing? What are the characteristics of what you're doing in the world? And your strategy is kind of how you do it. Your authority is how you make decisions. And then your profile is like your character. And to help you understand what that might mean, if you think about maybe a favorite character of yours in a movie or in a book or in a play, and you think about what is it that you love about that character, right? They have certain characteristics. Like characteristics go with character, right? There are things that help you know who that person is. And if you've ever sort of either watched a movie or read a book where the creator kind of lost control of it, and the next thing you know, you're reading something and you're like, that's really out of character. Like that character wouldn't do that, right? Because the creator has drawn such a clear description of a person and what their tendencies are, their interests are, the things that they tend to stay away from, the things that are really vital to them, right? All of that. And then also, usually we have character development, which means that the character at the end of the book or the end of the movie or the end of the play is different than the way they started, right? They've gone through some kind of transformational experience. They've met some challenge and drawn something out of themselves and made new choices, and new parts of them have come to the fore, right? And they've really developed that. So this is a really common aspect of storytelling that we have, right? Well, guess what? You have a character too, and it's exemplified by your human design profile. So as I said a minute ago, I'm going to offer this to you, and then you get to take it and play around with it and see how does it suit you. I know that when I learned about this first for myself, there was an aspect of myself that I really kind of put on the shelf. I was familiar with it. Like there was a period in my life when it was really prominent, but at the time that I learned about this, it was not. It was kind of to the side, and I'd kind of almost forgotten about it. And when I learned about it, I was like, oh yeah, that is me too. As it is me too. The other was me too, but this is also me. So it helped me to kind of reclaim and reimagine and reenchant, if you will, an aspect of myself that wasn't like completely unfamiliar to me, but it was not really active in my life. So as you get to know about your profile through this series of videos that I offer, you get to inquire for yourself, recognizing that everything is sacred, but what is really true for you? I want to show you a few slides that can help you to understand where these profiles come from, right? So that when you look at your chart, you're like, oh, okay, I get that piece. Because I know a lot of times when people come to human design and they look at the chart, and the chart's complicated, right? It's got a lot of things. And, there's over 125 different archetypes in human design, right? And your profile is just one of them, or two of them, really. There's a lot to look at there. And what I want to do is really zero in and show you where you can see it in the chart, so you can start to make better friends with it and know that you're going to be able to read it, especially over time. In this first image, you can see the body graph, right? The body graph is the image that's so familiar to everyone, and it is a representation of the human energy field from a human design point of view, and you can see it has the 9 centers, right? And then on the side of that, on the right-hand side, there's a series of black symbols and numbers, and that's where the planets were when you were born. Then on the other side, there's a whole series of red numbers and red symbols, and that's where the planets were 88 days prior to when you were born. Those two planetary alignments put together make up your human design. So for our purposes here today, we're going to zero in on the very, very top of those two lines of numbers and symbols. On the right-hand side, you'll see at the very top the number 19, and you'll also see the symbol for the sum, which is a circle with the dot in the middle of it. Then if you look at next to the number 19, there is a dot 1. So that means this person has a first line profile. First line comes from that dot 1. Then if you go over onto the red side, you'll see again the symbol for the sun, which is the circle with the dot in the middle, and then the number 44, which is the gate that the sun was in 88 days prior to your birth. And then it says dot 3. So this person also has a third line profile. So everyone has two numbers. Okay, so this is an example of a 1-3 profile. In this next image, it has the same kind of body graph there and the same numbers, but I wanted to show you where you can see it on a printout of a chart. So that's what the arrow all the way on the left-hand side is showing, is that every time you have a printout, it'll always show what your profile here is. And you can see here, this profile is a 5-1 heretical investigator. And then in this last image, I wanted to show you the mandala on the left-hand side, because the mandala is so beautiful and I always like to show it to people. And it contains the entire human design system in this one image. Around the outside are the 64 hexagrams of the I Ching, which is actually where the lines come from. Inside of that, there's another series of numbers, which are the numbers of the gate that relate to the hexagrams of the I Ching. And then if you take a look at the image over here on the right, you'll see there's an arrow that's pointing to these little hash marks that are between the hexagrams and the number, which is the number of the gate. And those little hash marks are actually the lines of the gate. So you'll see here with our previous example, right, we had the 19.1. So it would have been in that very first hash mark of the 19, or with that 44, right? It was in the third hash mark. That's how it would have shown up on this person's mandala. This other one here is different. So one of the things that you'll want to do is go and get your mandala. If you don't already have it, you can get it for free on my website. You can just go to your free human design chart.com and you'll get a printout of your regular chart, right, with the body graph and the two lines and everything, and then the explanation. But then you'll also get a printout of your own mandala, which is a wonderful thing to have. Like I said, the mandala is beautiful and it will transmit to you. The mandala is a powerful force. It's like human design is a consciousness. It's a living consciousness. And so your own mandala will help beam to you what your human design is all about. All right, I'll see you again soon in another video to come, exploring the human design profiles. Many blessings, much love. Bye for now.